Alright, little flight from Christchurch to Auckland. IFR, high altitude, about an hour and 5, it says. The ILS for runway 05, I think. Yeah, 05, right, would be 110.3. I think in Microsoft currently there's a bug where, like, normally they would put in the nav files automatically for IFR, for ILS landings. It would be automatically applied in the FMS, I think it's called. But sometimes it just doesn't work, and it's kind of wonky because you basically only know if it has worked once you can't hit the. You should have hit the glide slope, because sometimes ILS frequencies, they don't appear unless you're there, and sometimes you can only fix this by, I think, by re-entering the flight plan, and then hope it works. And of course, by then you are in a situation where you're technically already at the glide slope and are kind of approaching, and you shouldn't really fiddle around with your ILS frequency in that sense. So I guess it keeps it interesting. So yeah, I will keep it like that, and because I've fiddled around with this a couple of times, and lately there was never an ILS frequency, so I had to literally land it manually, even without glide slope. Had a situation where I had to land in Hong Kong, and it was just completely not visual, and I just landed it by just feels and guts, and normally you wouldn't do that, of course. So today what I'll try again is I will do it the same way, and I did this time. I won't re-enter the flight plan, because I'm literally just gonna do exactly this. And then if the ILS doesn't show up around here, the frequency or the glide slope isn't captured, localizer isn't captured, then I might change. Then I'll try and put in the frequency manually, which is what I will do before I will re-enter the flight plan, just to try if that works or not. So who knows how this will turn out. Flight conditions, live, please. Sticking with live traffic, hoping that this time, for some reason, there's so little traffic. So right now it's 6:19 a.m. there, which is cool. It's nice. Slowly we might fly into the sunset, actually, which is cool. Right now it's actually 8 p.m. here, local time for me. Radio. So I think we all said we're flying with the Lufthansa livery, which is the only one that I have currently, on the fly-by-wire mod, which makes this A320neo as close as currently as close as you get an airplane to be realistic in actual flight sim. I think it's obviously not near PMDG level, but it is fun. And I like fun because I'm not an insane flight simmer in that sense. But you know, it's cool. Anyway, there were a couple of things that I wanted to change before I go, but I think I'm just gonna go. Which is, I think the ATC. Well, there's the Microsoft Flight Sim is currently set so that my quote-unquote co-pilot will handle the ATC, which means very early on, once I power up the aircraft from cold and dark, it literally will immediately file the IFR flight plan and demand pushback, even though I'm really not ready, because I like to take my time a little bit in the beginning. And but we can always just fix that by saying, nope, actually I don't want pushback, and then demand it a little bit later. So yeah, let's just see, basically doing this short flight because I want to see if ILS works. And I also have the flight plan on my left, or the chart, which says that pretty much on the point where we hit the localizer. We still have to be at 3,000 feet, I think. I'll double check that in a second. Yeah, okay. Of course, I don't know exactly how I'll turn on the battery. And it immediately goes to I know what I'm doing. Turning on the external, turning on the pumps. I don't know if I can actually turn on if the APU bleed works without the APU. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just gonna heat up the panel a little bit. I'm gonna switch on nav1 on battery, nav2 and nav3. I'm gonna start the APU and wait until the flap is open. Meanwhile, I can already maybe get a little bit of floodlighting here. Set the weather. I think this means on both systems, on both screens, I think. And set the TCAS TA to all. Flaps open, so I'm gonna start the APU. Gonna turn on the nav lights and leave everything off. Okay. Turn on a little bit of light. Make this a little bit brighter. Turn on the flight director for now and this. Switch to nav and zoom out a bit. So let's get into FMC required. I think we can go to performance. I'm gonna take off with flap 1. That's what I mean. I really just no. Why? Don't. Goodbye, sir. Turning on the fly pad. What was it? Oh yeah. I'm not gonna use flex, I'm just gonna use toga. Because I'm crazy, I'm just gonna punch in the V1, V2, V-rotate and V2 values for now, even though I think you can... They really should... I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, I haven't really gone through all this. So, I'm just gonna leave it like it is at the moment. I'm gonna punch this in. I think the transition altitude, let me check the 3000 should be, well, 3000 is the Langu, so I'm gonna use 3000 as our transition altitude. I'm still using config 3. I'm still not entirely sure. I think the QNH, I can actually, can I see this? QNH, advisory altitude, log TMA. Not sure if I can see the QNH. Use Auckland QNH. There it is. Well, it just says use the correct QNH, which doesn't say what it is here. At least I can read it. This isn't the QNH. We might just do the Microsoft thing and press B at kind of an approach and then enter it when we enter like the wind altitudes and stuff like that. Also, the ADIS would be 127.8, which we might also try. I've never really. I think you can. This is VHF. I mean, 1278. 27. What is it? 1.7. 0.8, yeah. So, yeah, we can try and use that once we're clear, like nearby. I don't know what exactly the distance is and how we can, when we can actually call in on ATIS to figure out like the magnitude and wind and temperature and QNH. Okay, go around, yeah, cool. Initialize our cost index will be just the basic one. As far as I know, this is like the basic number for short flights like this. I'm not entirely sure, maybe it's actually 0 in that sense. I'm not entirely sure about that. This is being calculated cruise. I'm gonna go with 320. And ask for that with ATC, but I think there's still an ATC bug at the moment anyway. Hit the 0 fuel weight. Block it. It's blocked. Also not entirely sure what this means yet. I think that's it for the initialization. Yep. Flight plan. So I think here we are going to punch in the ILS frequency. Because it's not a VOR or an ADF, so I think here would be the correct one. Yeah, but again, I'm not entirely sure about that. Should be the case. Let me actually grab my stuff. Oops, I think I just hit something on my joystick, which is great. I don't know what I hit. That's cool. Just hit something on my joystick which clearly did something, but I don't know what happened. Great. Yeah, I'm gonna set to flaps 1. I'm gonna bring some light in here. It's actually kind of cold outside, so I'm gonna keep this on a little bit of a hotter side, even though I think this is still kind of normal to have it there, should be fine. Yeah, we don't really need the ADF for VOR, I think. Should be fine. Is there like more stuff that I can see or no? It's not. Cool. Actually, let me start the recording software. Sky Dolly record. Okay. We could start the pushback and stuff like that. Do we even have? Actually, see if that works, just to be curious. I think by calling the TAC via this menu, it actually doesn't do anything except just arrive, while the external power truck is just clipping through. And this guy's also just taking his time. Any second. Looks really cool. Now I remember what I forgot. I forgot to set like custom cameras because I really just want to press a few buttons and see kind of get into external modes and stuff. Let me get the other Thrustmaster throttle here. So many cables. Terrible. Rightio. So we can ask for the IFR clearance. Oh, didn't want to aid us, but it's calm anyway. Quebec. Thank you. Okay, this is weird. I think it's because I basically started this, but it hasn't said anything yet. So I'm just gonna go to ANG start and start engine 2. Temperature rising. Okay, everything done outside. Even the gate closed again, if it even was there. I mean the finger. Says avail. I'm just gonna leave the external power on because technically I'm not entirely sure after you would disconnect it you probably could turn it off, but I think actually in the actual cockpit you just leave it on until somebody connects it again. I think I'm not entirely sure though. I don't want to break the cockpit. So yeah, I'm just gonna deactivate my parking brake, set it to off, and steer back with Quebec, because we okay. Turning on engine number 1. What an interesting pushback, I just realized. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, did it? Maybe you can just push us back into the other gate. It just says end now. Okay, cool, thanks, I guess. It says request to push, but it keeps pushing. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just gonna stop the thing and do our turn ourselves. Yeah, cool. This is interesting. Goodbye, Tuck. Okay, now it does it automatically. Couldn't do it myself. That's what I was wondering. Both are good. Taxi lights. Alright. Just gonna do a turn here. And say that this pushback was definitely not my fault. What a turn of events. Ground speed is increasing. Just gonna let myself roll here. I need to decrease like the airport amount of vehicles because they're just constantly just stacking them up. I mean, they're waiting on me now, which is kind of cool. But oftentimes they're just way too many. So I did an A321neo or A320neo, whatever, not entirely sure, flight to Switzerland from Hamburg a week ago, and they took off with flaps 2, or like, I guess, yeah, 2, the one after one, and we were quite heavy, and I think we are kind of heavy too. And I was a bit surprised because I thought like the standard procedure for this aircraft actually is always just flaps 1, but apparently, I mean, I guess it really depends on the condition. Ground speed 26, not sure if that's already kind of fast. Probably is, who knows, but sometimes I see airplanes really cruising through the airports and we're just gonna roll. Also, what I'm not entirely sure about is those are taxi lights. Like when it comes to strobe beacon and wings, whether or not you're going to use this, I think you're just going to use this for, you know, not while you're taxiing, I think. Gonna switch to arc and go down. And I'm also just already gonna go to flight level 30, 32. I'm gonna brake here a little bit. I think in the next update, the braking intensity will be much more smoothly. I tested one of the like in development versions like a few weeks back, and that was the case. And that was really nice because I feel like I don't really have the control of braking smoothly and like gently tapping it, but yeah. Okay. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna take my brake, going to 50-60, release brake, and take off. $80, $90, $100, $110, $120, V1, and rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Oh shit, I disabled there. I pressed the wrong button. Come back to toga. And we good. I disabled the autopilot. Wrong button. I'm gonna turn on autopilot already. And say engage managed. I'm gonna put the flaps to 0, which should allow us to push up. I don't think there's any issue with the terrain anyway, but I'm just gonna leave it on for now. Turning on the taxi light, turning off the taxi lights. I'm just gonna, even though I'm gonna climb directly to 320, I'm just gonna try and clear that with the ATC. Where was it? 490, so 280 we can still... Just a couple little clouds here and there, nothing major. Can turn off the terrain and increase by 4,000. There we go. Wish I could just say that immediately. Alright, switching to... sorry, to... no. Standard. Switching off my landing lights. I'll retract them, not entirely sure. Yeah, we're actually flying into the sunset, which is beautiful. Yeah. Go to flight plan. You can see the two arrows, which is I think top of descent, and I think normally it's actually the other way around. I thought the first blue one is the top of descent, and then the white one is basically when you're kinda supposed to go down again. I'm not entirely sure though. And ATC is already bugged, thinking we have to go down to 8,000 because it was literally the first altitude it was asking me to do, which is just really annoying. And I think the whole ATC programming in here is really kind of connected to how the ILS will be then put into like the system, right? So if the kind of the ATC is not on the same like quote unquote length or like the same topic as you are, but when it's still thinking you're supposed to climb 8,000 even though you're already going through to a flight level of 320 to cruise there, which is also, by the way, probably why this is already wrong, because like as far as I remember, I think like it thinks now this is where I should have been at 8,000, and it keeps asking me to please climb to 8,000 even though it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, please climb to 8,000 basically. This doesn't make any sense. It's just broken. And yeah, sometimes I think like this is also the reason why it doesn't automatically apply like the ILS frequency in here, because it's just basically thinking I'm not doing anything correct here, which is just stupid. And then sometimes I think that's also why just re-entering the flight plan just breaks it, and like manually entering your ILS frequency, which I think it's here. I'm not, again, kind of a newbie at this, but yeah, I think that's where that should be. And then this also just might not work. So yeah, basically waiting for a world update. I think it's 5 or 6, which also will include Switzerland and Germany, which I'm excited about because I literally flew to Switzerland from Germany, and it was great. So I think wow, this is not annoying at all. Yeah, but climbing fast to 320, this looks just beautiful. Absolutely amazing. And here comes the sun, just creeping in. I'm gonna be very interested in one of the latest updates that they did, and I think, yeah. Oh my god, for just a second I was like, what kind of crazy autobahn is going on over here? But it's just the scratches and the light. I think that's a little bit too much, honestly. Like, I mean, what exactly is supposed to happen here? It's a typical artist who's like, oh yeah, scratches. Like, no. Somebody just repeatedly put his, like, kid's toy over the... Yeah, right. Sure. Anyway. I'm also, like, kind of tempted. I should have done this before. Will we get alt stars soon? No, we're just not even there yet. I'm also kind of tempted to basically just disable ATC, like not just the voice, but also just don't fly with ATC and just do it all on your own and basically just imagine it in that sense. Because I feel like right now it's just breaking everything. Right, having a cheeky little turn at what almost looks like a funny word. I don't know. Yeah, right. If I would do that, then I would probably crash into mountains. Yeah, I am a little bit annoyed with the fact that they're not pushing out an update for just the ATC. I mean, it's just broken, and it's not fun at all. So, still climbing. What I also still don't know is, like, which is a very cool thing. What we have here is like a performance thing where, like, you can like sync the altitude and say I want to be at 3,000 feet. Oops, I think it's a minus still there. Yeah, 30,000 feet. Actually, no, it just calculates the distance. Sync, no. Yeah, you can kind of enter the distance, so let's say 150 nautical miles would be like around about a vertical speed of minus 1,000 to get from our cruise altitude, which, I mean, we can actually enter this manually and then it's even more interesting. We're just going to keep it on sync. So yeah, you can kind of calculate and say, okay, if I'm about 150 nautical miles away, you know, or actually 160, where did I enter 150? then I need like 1,000 feet with the current speed that we're rocking, and then you can kind of choose this on your own, because this is 160, and then you could kind of say, you know, figure out at which point you want to be at 3,000. Little check here is redacted. Sorry, not redacted, retracted. It's like minus 26 Celsius and stuff. I'm not entirely sure when. I mean, obviously, also the aircraft will tell you when you need any ice. And I think it's kind of, you can just quote unquote ignore it until the airplane basically tells you that it needs it. And I'm not entirely. I don't even know if it makes sense to use it like on cruise and stuff, because you really want to just warm it up once you kind of go down and get ready for approach, I guess, because then you kind of don't want ice on your wings and everything. But I'm not entirely sure about that at all, I guess. So approaching, we probably should get alt star in a bit so that it climbs out. So I'm actually gonna go back to climb, which makes it actually stop climbing. That's interesting. Going back to didn't expect that. Don't get alt. Don't know. We get alt star. I guess now I could do it, but I'm just gonna wait. Autothrottle is still active. And there we go. Nice and quiet in the cockpit. Now, because we are cruising quite fast, gonna go back to CL mode, which will probably make us drop at about 280, 285, which is cool. Cool. Yeah. So let's look at the flight plan and switch us over there. Please be quiet, ATC. You're not annoying at all. This is POCOM. Okay, interesting. That's not our. It says flight level. Okay, basically 10,000 feet here. So we could like from we could go down to Pepe. And from there on, we kind of can only fly 250 anyway. I'm not sure how like the actual routes are in New Zealand. I think they're a little bit different, probably regarding all of these things. And we're just gonna do what I know at this point, which is below 10,000 feet. You're only allowed to fly 250 knots, which is very interesting actually, because it kind of, you know, what I've kind of started on doing is the idea of having a very fast kind of climb, and basically then, you know, have a little bit of cruise and then kind of already descending with a very low you know, feet per second with a very low vertical speed, because I kind of like the idea, and I think I have this with the flights that I've been on in my life as well, where you would have a fast approach, a fast takeoff, then a bit of a cruise, and then kind of slowly, you know, get down again, so that you know, you don't really dive down, and as a passenger it's just more comfortable. But of course, if you kind of plan your route so that, you know, like if I would say, okay, you know, it's quite a while still to go, but technically if I want to be, you know, at this waypoint here, which is should be Langu, which is also where we should reach our localizer. If you say like, let's calculate kind of like how slow we have to go down from now until we meet that point. At a certain point, you're going to go below 1,000. Sorry, below 10,000, and you have to kind of decrease the speed anyway, and then you're kind of chugging along the rest of the flight, which is slow, right? So I guess because people also want to get to their destination, you know, quote unquote, as fast as possible, you kind of do wanna stay fast, right? So I mean, so we are on 80 nautical miles right here. That's interesting, says 80 here and it's on 40 there. Is it because I'm on arc? No. I think this is... Yeah, this is 160, right. So it is correct what it says here. No, not what... Why? Okay. A bit confused why it says 160 here, even though it's 40. So it's, you know, probably around like 40 nautical miles if you're here, and then that's quite a long time, I think, for just flying 250. But yeah. Also, there's this right here, which I think it's a D, which I guess is descent in that sense. I'm not entirely sure what exactly it stands for, as in this is where you had to already reach your descent rate, or I'm not entirely sure. I thought like normally the arrow would kind of tell you when you have to yeah, descend. Which is, you know, there's the arrow is now behind us, and I don't know. I sometimes actually got two errors which made me feel like this is working, and it basically tells me when I should descend. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with the rule of okay, this is broken. No, it's fine. I'm just gonna stick with having roughly 160 nautical miles to go, and then just doing kind of a manual descent so that we get where we're gonna get. I guess if we wanna kind of calculate, if we would wanna say let's go to 10,000, that would be just this, which is not a lot. It's really just not that big of a difference. Because we then could kind of say what is kind of I think acceptable, and like now if I shorten this and let's say 100 nautical miles is already -1.6, which is probably quite a lot for a northern hard. So maybe 120 distance. Now I can kind of basically now I shorten the distance to where I want to be at 10,000. Basically the last point where I can fly kind of fast. And I think something like that, 100, like if I say 100, that's like quite a lot. So yeah. And also I can't really, I mean, if this is 80 and this is 160, and then how much was it? Sorry, 120. Well, I mean, I guess it's 80, 90. It's roughly here, of course. So basically, if we reach the 10,000 mark and it's about 120 miles away, then we can kind of go down with that speed of 1.3 or 1.4. I think all of these kind of things. Oh my god, this looks beautiful. Look at that. That's great. Look how much the sun has risen already without us even noticing. back a little bit because we don't need it as much. Oh, this looks nice, doesn't it? I think the dome is already off. Yeah. Yeah, totally going down to 9,000 feet. Yes, thank you. That makes sense. I also use the NVIDIA tool, the overlay, to add like post-processing effects, like sharpening a little bit into the video, which is normally something that I would do like in the recording, like if you render it out. But yeah, just decided to do it basically live, which is kind of nice because it actually looks also a little bit more sharp, which I actually kind of like because it's easier, you know, to read stuff, and of course it's not very quote-unquote PBR friendly. Gives everything a bit more of a cartoony look, especially like stuff that have strong normal maps, like this very weirdly unwrapped area. Everything that's a little bit stronger, you know, just pushes out, because you can like do two things. You can either sharpen the textures, basically I guess it looks into the textures that's being loaded through the GPU and then just sharpens that, and you can basically also just sharpen the whole screen, which I think this is why you can also see these kind of effects around the 3D models, which I think looks a little bit better than basically changing the PBR values, which is what you're doing when you're like sharpening the textures. So yeah, it's probably still a little bit strong, but I think it's better for the video because it's going to be compressed and stuff anyway if you upload this to something like YouTube. Anyway, PP. Actually, what, you know, I guess what's also possible to do, I mean, we still have to fly, let's see. I don't know how straight it is. It is really straight. I guess at this point, well, it's not actually completely straight, but if it would have been very straight also, I guess a good opportunity would be to just go direct to Pepe, and then you know exactly how many nautical miles you're away. Naughty miles you're away, and then you know exactly, okay, it's about 120, let's go down with set amount of vertical speed. Desired vertical speed. Wonderful. A very desired vertical speed. Oh look, we're actually pushing through the upper clouds now, which is still not very windy. Always surprises me, like I had this on the flight as well. If I turn off the terrain... Oh sorry, it was off already, of course. I mean, yeah, like I was about to say, like there was something that surprised me as well. Like you're sitting in an airplane, you look outside, and you look down, and there's just like these millions of clouds, and they're so far away, and you're just so high up, and you're like, wow, we're so high up, and then all of a sudden there's this dusty little, you know, kind of last clouds stage, and you're like, oh wait, there's more. There are more clouds up there. This is actually a very interesting scenario right here, because I'm not entirely sure if you would kind of stay in this if you would basically increase your altitude a little bit, sorry, your flight level, because you don't really want to fly through the east on this altitude, who knows. If this is like more taxiing on the plane or something, would be interesting to know. But it is cool. It is cloud surfing, isn't it? Wunderschöne Lufthansa-Flieger. 420. Blaze it. I'm such an adult. I really should change that. Alright. So we are slowly getting there. Well, it'll still take a while. Oh, we have a little bit of a cloud situation going on there. Or like, I guess, rain. Yeah, I wish I could kind of, I mean, can I see this on the flight plan? How far is... we got Pepe, and then where's Lengu? Where's Lengu? Lengu. I wish I could see how far away it is here, but I can't. Distance to far. Well, I guess you can also use this and then just look at the charts and kind of say, okay, and you kind of add the amount of the way basically from the one runway to like Lengu in this case where you would get the localizer and the ILS, and kind of add that on top of that, and then basically say, okay, if I want to be at Lengu at 3000 and the length of runway to Lengu is, I don't know, let's just say 10 nautical miles, which is probably more or less, and you just add add that to this number. So, there would be 170, or in our case, because it would be 120, so it would be 130, and then basically once it says 130, you can kind of descend to it, even though we kind of want to go to 10,000 anyway first. Which is kind of hard to see. Oh, actually, above the cloud layer, which is cool. So fluffy. Look at all that fluff. Enough coffee for you, sir. You're done. Coffee. Even though I haven't set up my shortcuts yet, I really should do that. I really like this. Loud! It's so loud. Too loud. Better. I really like these cameras. They're fantastic. Beautiful. With a little logo here of Lufthansa. I really like the Swiss logo as well, just like the Switzerland logo here. I think they have like a red stripe here too. Fantastic. Really nice. Enough relaxation, let's go back to work, which is just staring at the cockpit. And doing very important stuff like increasing the brightness of this IC. Easy. Instrumental, I don't even know what this stands for. $9,000 feet. I'm just checking something on my phone. Real life stuff. Oh god. We're still supposed to be at 9,000 feet, I presume. I can't wait. This is one of those things where I really think, I really would like to get into, what's it called? AVIS and, all the actual real-time ATC stuff. Because when you know what you're doing, I think It's a little bit more chill because there's actually people that help you in that sense. But of course, I kind of only want to do this once I know the aircraft. Like, like for me right now, it's a gamble whether or not like ILS works or not and stuff. And yeah, these kind of things. What is the distance from Lango actually to the runway? Let's check. So, advisor altitude. What's circling? I can't really see that. What we actually could just do, switch, and actually does this work? COM2. It just immediately switches me to this. Okay. Wait, this was 127.8. Boop. And it just fucking cool. That's great. I guess I have to like disable that so that. What? Oh. This probably also doesn't work. Why would it? Wait, did it? No, just magically says nope. Microsoft wants you to stay on this, which is fantastic. Alright, there is the arriving. I think I'm gonna use Pokemon though as a kind of a reference now. So it's 120, which would be 1,400, which I think we can do. So, oh my god, stop scrolling out. Oh, I am wrong. So let's go to 10,000. Boop. Say, I guess I can just say managed, and then just go down 1,000 vertical speed. What was it? Sorry, 1.4. Engage vertical speed. So now going down with 1.4, which is good, and we can just think another option as well is to use, to basically, as far as I understand, don't have an incredible steep angle, but use the speed brakes, right? So that you can kind of use the speed that you have to really come down quickly. I guess that's also an option. No, it's even going down, so just gonna follow the advice of that calculation in that sense. And punch through the clouds. Look at that. That looks amazing. Just having these double layer of clouds, and then probably a third below that. Amazing. Like from this distance, these clouds look just great. These clouds look like so like smoke yellowy. Now that he's talking to a different one, I also kind of get the feeling that there's not a lot of aircrafts, which is kind of weird because usually when I fly with real-time traffic, or as in set it so that Microsoft uses actual traffic, then there were so many, and also the airports were always full, and for some reason they're not anymore. I mean, you have pretty much everything on 100% when it comes to traffic. That's a bit odd. Looks to be a little bit of a situation here regarding weather, but funnily enough, it's exactly on the left and right side between Auckland. So coming down through the clouds now, I'm guessing flight level 276. I wonder if you would actually see the sun bang through these clouds so much. I don't think so, right? Or maybe this upper cloud level is actually really thin. That would be very interesting, like if you would punch through the cloud layers below us, like the quote-unquote thicker ones, because I feel like these upper clouds are kind of a lot less, thick, I guess. Look at them thick clouds, boy! If, this would actually not be there, that would be very impressive. Or at least it would surprise me. Different types of transparency values or render layers for certain situations. Wouldn't surprise me if they actually have it, because I have a lot of awesome stuff in this flight simulator, and the simple fact that even though there's not a lot of stuff to load and everything, I'm just rocking 60 FPS, and I would have more, but I've kept it, even though I have like a 144 Hz monitor. Like for flight sims, I just really want that frame set, because there's nothing worse than having to try and then do like kind of a manual landing, and then like with chugging frames, which it just makes it harder to kind of feel how fast you're going, even though you obviously look here, but it just makes it harder and not fun, of course. So, interestingly enough, now the I guess because the distance is not this. Yeah, I mean, of course, the lower the altitude gets, like right now, the distance, I should have, I guess, timed it. And we can use. We said like we wanted this to be our destination, which is around 80 miles now, so this should kind of get back to, well, it's at 1,000 only now, so we are, well, he's not using vertical speed at all anymore, because he just stopped using that. That's really odd. So I'm gonna change my vertical speed again. I don't understand when this happens. Like, there's maybe a reason for that I haven't seen. So yeah, it's 80 miles now still, and so it's actually even less than that. So we're gonna do that because I really don't want to come down this early, especially because I mean, I'm guessing below us will not be as many mountains. I think most mountains will be on our left side, which is probably also actually where this weather is, because it's just like hanging onto the mountains. Also, we can change the TKs to just below, because we're climbing. Because we're descending. Still at 900. Okay. Some really nasty dark clouds sitting now here. Nothing really in front of us, so okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if you would actually. Oh, that's amazing! If you would actually look at these voxels, that's not that great. Yeah, I guess you would really kind of know that you would just descend, like you would kind of calculate when you want to descend, and I don't even know if it makes sense to kind of descend this early, even though I guess 80 nautical miles away from the 10,000 mark isn't that crazy far away, so I guess it's makes sense in a sense, I guess. I don't know. Alright, so 70, I'm just gonna kind of manually do this just to see. I guess you can almost, based upon like the vertical speed that you would need, kind of calculate the distance as well. It's like we were around about 1,000, so like if I would put this down to 6.5 or like 6.2, we're back at this value. So we are kind of 6.2 away, which right now we are 17 nautical miles away. It would be interesting if I can actually calculate it this way. Probably. Not a math guy, I don't know anything about math, sorry. I look at number and I say number green is good. I mean, I guess now the flight 02 is at around 80, so if we want to be at 10,000, we really don't need to be. We can even, bring this down a little bit slower too. And it's actually already turning slightly, which is, it's either because of calculating the wind. What's the wind situation? It's there, but it's not crazy. I guess it's because I'm in the clouds. ATC is just given up. We can also go to performance and activate the approach phase, I guess. I'm not entirely sure when you can do this. QNH and temperature will do a little bit earlier. I can still not change. What was it? 127.8, right? I could have gone the other way, I guess. But once I open this, it'll just... Now if I click on this, it just changes it. It's... I'm guessing if you turn off the... Yeah, I think I will try this the next time. If you turn on the auto... Wait, what's happening? Where's my flight plan? What? Okay. Direct to... And of course my... Yeah, I don't understand this. Wow. This is exactly the sort of stuff where I go, okay, I'm lost with this situation. And now everybody in the back would be like, what's going on? What kind of bank is that? Oh my god. Yeah, there are a lot of automatic things happening where I just think this wouldn't happen in the actual aircraft, where you were like, why would it just stop using VS? Alright, so we're like roughly a little bit... Let me just... Okay, 3... Let me actually enter the destination data, which is 3... why would it lag now? 3... 10. Now it's 309. Why? Something happened on the ice for the engines. I'm gonna push it for the wings as well. So we're like 45 roughly away. Let's double check this again, which would be roughly 400, and we're pushing 500. That's fine. Kinda wanna get through these clouds. Check on terrain, which we don't really need. Turning on the landing lights already, because it's... I mean, I don't think I need this now, but I'm just gonna push these because we are in the clouds, and just because it's really shaky. What's the wind situation right now? 1. Interesting. Doesn't seem like it. So now it's 60 away, where we actually want to be at 10,000. So let's, which is, you know, quite a while. So we can actually maybe bring this to 300. Even though we kind of want to push through these clouds, but just gonna keep it slow and steady. It's already now using just 200, which is like because of the I really don't want that actually. So let's go back to... Those are like the things that I don't like. I'm guessing because you managed speed and the kind of the flight plan isn't really something that is very accurate regarding these values. This is why it's also not completely doing what it should do. So it's gonna go to 280, and we are 40 away now. And of course these calculations were different because of the speed. So we can actually increase this to 500 again. Which it's not doing. Okay, vertical speed. Now it's doing it. Okay. I think it actually wants me to already be on QNH. So, oops. Let's go to QNH. I can actually fly faster too still. And because we might want to actually get through these clouds, I'm just gonna go down. It's funny, right? Because like doesn't looks to be like as if the weather is really near us, but it really is. Maybe the weather, this is just really bad, and what we're having right now is just still nothing. So it's still just 500. Okay, now it goes down again. I also disabled these markers, but they, for some reason, they just come back. I think it's waypoints. Let me actually, because they really do annoy me, let me actually go to assistant. Is it assistant? Poi, and then they're all off. User experience. Navigation aids. Route and waypoints. It's on. Let's turn that off. I think that's it. Landing path. What? Oh, taxi ribbon, yeah, sure. Apply and save. Go back. And it's gone. Beautiful. Beautiful. And there also is a mod that disables this little icon here that I don't want to have. Goodbye, camera. Interesting, even though I said like please 1,000, it's just not doing it. Now it's okay. For this lovely weather, it feels like I'm flying through the night right now. I think there's a website called Windy. We go to Windy actually and go to NZAA, not Hamburg, NZAA, Auckland. Wind is 12. Can actually enter that already. So temperature is 12 Celsius right now, and the wind direction is 100 with a strength of 16. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I need to enter this for the ILS to show up as well, but yeah. Probably getting All-Star soon. Just gonna switch to managed, sorry. Negative. So going to the flight plan, because there was like this brief moment again where I was just disconnected and like my nav points were gone. This is one of those moments where I'm like, you know, this is probably a reason. Oh, look at that! Probably a reason why the ILS also just won't work. So, and based on how bad the weather down there is, I really hope I will get something. Because if I don't, if I'm not visual, and I know myself, then I'm just gonna try and land it visually anyway, even though there's nothing, because I don't have like the time and stuff, and I'm just gonna be annoyed that the ILS didn't work, and I'm just gonna try it anyway. This looks fantastic. So, and this is kind of where I would like it. It would be nice to be able to kind of know the distance to these. I guess if I can fly, if I want to fly this, I think for this time I'm really just gonna not try and kind of make it so that it is as smooth as possible. I'm just gonna be flying to waypoints and then you know, putting in these values and basically keeping it at Alt-Star now. Now it's dropping. Why is it dropping? No, because That's interesting. I haven't even set it to go, but it's already going. It's not really what I want. And pushing through the clouds. So, yeah, this is really, oops, level off for now. That's really not what I want to do. I thought like using managed would just mean that it's literally going to follow the next one, but for some reason, yeah, it's not. I'm also going to use my, because, oh my god, I actually realized I'm actually not supposed to do this. I'm bashing through. Yeah, okay. Was way too fast for this altitude, I guess, or not really allowed, even though I don't know the rules for New Zealand, but I'm sure it's also definitely not this. That's what I get for looking at my phone in the approach phase. So yeah, terrain is still on, and if I would have, known everything about the approach and the charts, then I probably should also know that this is still fine altitude-wise, but yeah, of course, you should really be doing what the ATC is doing, but because I have so little respect towards the Microsoft automated ATC, I really don't care at this point. So technically we can also do flaps 1 already, but let me actually go to ILS here, and I've been in this situation before where I'm now basically hoping the ILS will be there. I still haven't decided if I'm just gonna put it in manually, which I assume I still have to do because nothing really works. So it's turning now. Let's see, like, because we have a headwind, like its nose is actually being pushed up. That's probably also one of the reasons, one of those reasons, because we are actually this slow. And probably, yeah, it says 240. You see, it's really. I also feel like this is just not. It's just not fast enough for this point. This looks like if the voxel would be higher, which they just decided to punch down, this would probably look completely insane right now. Wow. I mean, with the light and everything, Jesus. So cool. I mean, yes, they do look like ash clouds in that sense, but they look like amazing ash clouds. I'm sure, like, with a little bit of rendering tweaking and just don't have them as gray, then it would just, like, be amazing. Wow, look at this. You're just like, oh my god, I can't go in there. Yes, we can. Kapoosh. So cool. Maybe the D stands for kind of activating the descent in the FMS, which we have done already, but yeah. Actually, that makes a lot of sense, because that would mean that all of these kind of settings of us being this quote-unquote slow would kind of only be after here, which we now kind of have to manually fight. What amazing. So yeah, we'll just push on to this part, which now will be 7,000, which we can do now with managed altitude. So it's 8 nautical miles away, and it's now starting to go down. I think yeah, we might need some speed brake there, but I think we're actually gonna be fine. Yeah, we're gonna be fine. Sometimes the mouse cursor just disappears because it's being blocked by So we are going to engage manage speed mode, which is probably going to slow us way down. We're going to go to oh, actually we can't yet. Next will be 4,000. Let me switch this to manage speed, height. Which it will probably do. Actually, at my flaps 1, I think it's 240, so it might start to beep. Yep. Should start beeping in a second though. It's not really going down though, so kind of. So now it's actually going to the 4,000 that we set. I can engage manage speed mode again. Still not through the clouds. There's no terrain. Yeah, no bad weather. So now is kind of the time to decide whether or not we want to have, if we want to re-enter the ILS, because I think even though we haven't caught it yet, normally if it's entered already it'll show up here. And last time it didn't work, it just didn't show up. So, oh look, I'm gonna go to ARC. And this will be 3,000 afterwards, but we're just gonna stay like this for a second. Yeah, let me go back to the charts. So it's 1110.3. I don't think we need the CRS. I don't even exactly know what that is. So now, you know, it's there, which is good. I shall not be quiet, sir. So just gonna chill at 4,000 here, just gonna quite low clouds today. Yeah, my landing lights are on, it's all on. Putting back the seatbelts that I haven't used so far at all. And telling my crew nothing. Wait. Okay. I'm really... What? I'm so blown away just now that I just pressed that and it actually said, like, prepare to landing. That didn't know there was a thing. That's awesome. That's really cool. It's the small things. Yes, 12,000. That makes absolute sense, sir. So it's actually already pushing down to 3,000. If I just do this. Which is a little bit earlier than I should, I guess. Which you can see already here because I'm already below it now. Going down. Next flap. I'm using overspeed. Okay, sorry. Using auto brake 2 and set this. And oops, gear down. I think the gear down this was too late, which is why I'm also having trouble with kind of the flap speed. I think we are kind of reaching. I'm just gonna do it again. Yep, there we go. Right, about 50 nautical miles away. Next, flap settings. Just gonna let him do the turn and hit the localizer.
2,500.
And we are still... I'm just wanna check the ILS here. Yeah, okay. So we are still at 2,000 and I can't really read the next one. I think it's already 265, so we are gonna go to 26 here. And we're actually gonna wait until it's not even on the localizer. I'm gonna press the approach already. And it's slowly capturing the glide slope and going down now. Switching to full flaps. And just punching through the clouds. Okay. Still no visual. And it is probably somewhere here. Going to ILS for just a second. There's a high mountain there, isn't there? Checking, we have a... Not gonna change anything here, but just out of curiosity, we entered, sorry, 16. Oh, we're just not even close to that. So I'm guessing, I'm not entirely sure if this. Oh, we got visual there. I'm just gonna, because I lost visual again, I'm just gonna let it do its thing. So, speed brake check, auto brake on medium. I'm just gonna slowly bring my throttle back, because I know that if it's kind of on full throttle, it might freak out. Alright, we get visual again. We're still 4 nautical miles away. I'm not entirely sure when you kind of disengage the autopilot and stuff. I think the minimums is at 800 or something. But at this point, I could take over. I'm just gonna wait maybe until 3 nautical miles. I kind of want to do this manual anyway. So we're at 3.5 nautical miles. Maybe I'll wait until the minimums. Got a pretty strong headwind, so it's really pushing up. Okay. Oh my god. That's really... Okay, I don't have control over my throttle at the moment. There we go. So we're... Yeah, and here... Oh my god, I got a huge lag. There you go. There's this weird bug with the A320 just flaring hardcore to like the left side, which is still a thing. So going down a little bit, catching the glide slope. Just really windy. Oh my god. It just throws around the...
500.
A little bit. So... Still a bit... Oh my god, it's just such a crazy reaction. So, still a little bit above the...
300.
I just can't believe that this would actually be this crazy strong. I mean, depending on... Okay, just
200.
kind of doing the visual now. What is happening? And just coming... Oh my god, it's just flaring so crazy.
50.
And going back to idle.
30.
Oh my god, what's...
20.
Oh god.
10.
I'm just gonna slowly... Butter. Gonna touch down. Reverse thrust set. Almost at 60 anyway. Oops, camera's going crazy. Disengaging. And just keep on rolling. Bringing back all my flaps. Disengaging, speed brake. Yeah, the whole... Oh, why is it stopping? The whole, just having a very, very crazy flare at the end. I don't know what's that all about, but, like, I mean, of course, like, disabling the... Come on, why is it still on auto brake or what? Yeah, like, there's a common bug where you, like, it just flares crazily. before you touch down, a lot of people, said so. I'm actually just gonna slow down here for just a second. Stalling the APU, disabling the anti-ice, turning off the landing lights and the wings, beacon strobe, and setting this back to taxi. So yeah, there's this bug where it just flares crazily. Yeah, it's just, of course, like if the computer's doing the ILS approach and it's really smooth and there's nothing happening, and then you turn it off, and of course, their computer's probably doing millions of little corrections that you could never do like that, so you would never be as like calm as that. But like the difference was crazy, and yeah, I mean, I kind of had to pull up a little bit earlier because I had to overcorrect it a little bit, because there was a lot of corrections that I had to do. So I didn't bounce, of course. Let me actually get rid of flight direct and ILS. But yeah, I definitely had to kind of steady the plane first again. And I'm just gonna skimmy through here because nobody's watching. And yeah, I corrected again, which was didn't expect that. Is this the bus for our passengers? Quick guy. Yeah, but we had the recorder for the landing of the whole thing, so we can check that out in a little bit. I'm just gonna do a little bit of... Yeah, look, like the airport is just completely empty. There's just GA. I mean, it's not empty. I mean, there's a lot of planes, I guess, but like it feels like there's like a million GA and like nothing international. Like it's completely empty, isn't it? Like there's nothing. It just doesn't feel right, and it was never this case. I'm just scheming through here. Sorry. Isn't it also a good thing to turn off the landing lights before you taxi to the gate? Hello. Something is kind of wrong with these throttle settings at the moment, because you're not gonna, like, if you turn them off, you're not gonna blind the poor souls working. So yeah, it feels kind of off that there are no big airplanes. Also, there are like no signs here, which is a bit odd. Oh yeah, sorry buddy. Let me actually try and fix this. Cool. Parking brake set. Opening the door, which was open anyway. Turn approach model. I think this turns off automatically normally. I'm not entirely sure. APU is available. Flap open. Is it even? Yeah, it should run. So I think this means it's already running. Yeah. External power is already active. I guess I'm just gonna kill the engines, even though we can actually do this for the sure fuel as well. So it actually works, which is cool. That was a very cool approach, as in like the weather was there all the time, and we were basically just flying through the clouds all the time, which is always cool when it's real-time weather anyway. It gives you kind of a sense of this is what it would be like right now, and I kind of like that. It looks nice now. But I think like if I would check on windy, the site, it says it's like has a wind strength of 10. If you look at our cockpit right now, we can't right now, yeah, of course. But we can ask the ATIS if we can. No, that's not what I want. There we go, ATIS. Okay, this one is 25. So, right, as a big difference between what I was checking online with the data that is existing right there and the data that Microsoft pulls. So, kind of shows you that if you can't really rely on the data that you have in the real world for like your simulation, then you're really screwing yourself up, because like a headwind of like a wind strength of 9 versus 25 probably is a really big difference. And I'm guessing there's also certain rules regarding like ILS approaches, as in like if there's a heavier wind like than 25 knots or whatever, then you can't really do it manually, or you're not allowed to, or something like that. Maybe, I have no idea. Just saying, just guessing at this point. Anyway, that was cool. Worked out very well. Showed us again that you really kind of need to like enter the nav code yourself, and you just always should have it. The nav code, ILS frequency, which is cool, and I actually kind of like it anyway, to kind of program in the stuff yourself and stuff, and yeah, it's kind of nice. It's almost to a point where I now just want to enter the certain like waypoints myself. What's good, my dude? What's up? Yeah, I like you too. Right? Where's this coming from? So, time to say goodbye to engine 2 and engine 1. And continue. Thank you, Microsoft. And turn off the APU and the APU bleed. Turn off the crew supply. And we don't need the battery, the pumps anymore. Next we can stay on. Now turning off I think, how do you do this? Like 1, 2, 3. So I guess you would do 3, 2, 1, I'm guessing. And goodbye to your screen, and goodbye to your screen. I don't need you! Oh my god. Just turning this off. Goodbye, sir. Setting this to standby, and I think... Oh my god. Set traffic to all above. Interesting, like these are not really accurate as to what it says right there. I didn't change the weather. Actually, I did. I'm just gonna change this as well. And I'm gonna unlock it, which it already is. Brake is on. GPS lost. Can I actually turn off the FMS with like the... I mean, I don't need to, but maybe you can. Not entirely sure. Cool. I'm gonna turn off the batteries. Oh, stroke was on already. Turn off the nav. And yeah. Cha-chonk. I think now when the battery's dropping below 27 or something. Oh, it's interesting, it has a different value, then it just pops out the circuit, or whatever, I'm not entirely sure. And now it's dead. We got a dead airplane. Alright. Yeah, cool. Let me actually load up and press stop for recording Sky Dolly. Yeah, that was fun. Again, I just want to say that I'm obviously a beginner at this. It's just something that I do because it is fun. And yeah, I'm not a professional simmer in that sense, but was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm thinking of just doing these random recordings and not struggling with cutting. I did a few cuts myself and did a lot of stuff, like added like color correction, and I added like camera shakes, and that would apply to certain things like approach. And actually, because I flew to Switzerland with an A321 I think, I actually recorded a lot of stuff with my GoPro, the landings and takeoff, and I used that sound for that clip. It was a lot of work, but I don't really have the time for that. It was a lot of fun, and the clip came out really nice. But yeah, this is very, like, I guess that's why a lot of people do live streams, because they don't really have to do the cutting and everything, and you could just yeah. So this is why I'm gonna load up the replay now. Maybe we can just look at a few things like the approach and landing and stuff, because that's always fun. Now, as far as I know, this will crash the flight, and then we just have to restart the flight all often. But we can maybe already go into a showcase camera like this, maybe, and then just gonna load up the file here, press play, and it says you crashed, damaged your landing gear. Yeah, because it just basically teleported me to the other place. Maybe I can do this while pressing pause, like in the simulation, and then just doesn't kind of does that. No, it's already started and everything, which is good. So let's just go to a certain camera, maybe. Fixed 17 was kind of nice. Oh, this looks so cool. Yeah. I had enough of like the window view and seeing the windows, which is always awesome, but I like this right now, and this flare here, it's amazing. So let's press play on this. Maybe let's go to doing a weird. That looks really cool. I think there's quite a long lot of stuff happening here, and it just keeps on going. I think this is shortly before we take off, right? Probably checking a few lights here and there. Let's cheat a little bit and change the weather because it's still on real time. And let's just push this. I think I have to still press play here, yeah. I'm just gonna leave that weather for now. There it is, AO2. I'm probably asking ATC at this moment. Hello, runway lights. Would be a good thing to kind of read into when you really are supposed to turn on certain lights. Oh, in the background I think you can see a plane landing there. I think unfortunately in the replays, when there is an actual aircraft landing, as in like a real-time airplane, like if an actual plane would land right now and that would translate into the flight sim, it would just delete that from your vision, which is kind of a shame. Sorry. Yeah, because I think this is a bit better for the takeoff, because there's the sun. I think like the wing flex on these planes look really cool, but I think like because I disengaged the autopilot there. and I had to switch back to toga. Basically, I was pressing the wrong button. Wanted to gear up and pressed disengage autopilot, which is kind of strange because I didn't have it engaged yet, but I think it cancelled the toga in that sense. Look at all of these lights. That's awesome, isn't it? Like I love like these times, like obviously sunset or sundown. Oh wow, and these great colors. But if you can get all of these lights still, like on the ground, the city lights as well, that's kind of the coolest, isn't it? Like this beautiful sky and all of these lights. That looks so cool. Yeah, also I remember when I was flying to Switzerland, I was really surprised how late Flaps 1 was pulled as well. I'm kind of pulling it very, very early in comparison. But yeah, I remember just flying for like ages, what felt like ages, and then all of a sudden I see it retracted. I'm like, wow. I think we were quite heavy actually. I think we also used Flaps 2. Yeah, very cool. Very cool takeoff. So maybe we can just kind of skip forward a little bit. And the sun just... G'day. Having a nice turn there. Look at all of these clouds. So beautiful. 240. I think there's an add-on that allows you to kind of get these like metadata. I guess an overlay. So right, you could kind of look at this and also get the metadata and be like, okay, we're at flight level this and all of that, which would be amazing for footage, I guess. So let us skip forward a little bit. Look at these clouds, so beautiful. And just still climbing and climbing and climbing. Actually coming down already, I think. We are right this moment, we are 32 minutes in the flight, or the recording I should say. Yeah, I really can't wait for Microsoft to kind of revert the cloud rendering, as in how many voxels are allowed. Because honestly, this is my favorite stuff. Like I'm totally cool with having like the ground textures to be not as like sharp and like highly res after a certain distance, because for me clouds and kind of just having good FPS for landing and stuff is more important than that. But I think I can kind of probably find a good balance between having kind of maximum clouds and a good enough kind of ground detail. So let's skip ahead a little bit again. Just different types of clouds there. Like, looks so cool, right? It's like a faster wind, and we're finding these upper clouds now. Yeah, you can really see like these voxelizations are very grainy. I mean, it looks good, and I almost want to say like you don't need to increase the resolution, and it's just more of a kind of a, I mean, I don't know exactly if you can anti-alias voxels in that sense, or if you can just, probably not, I guess. Maybe you can, if it's just done by increasing the voxel size, could be, but yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful still. It's incredible. It is really amazing. Okay, I'm goshing so much. Oh my gosh. I don't want to skip forward just yet. Just want to enjoy this for a little bit. Just great. Reflections also are a little bit grainy, unfortunately. Okay. Also, I can't wait for Microsoft to kind of implement their own like replay settings. That might also just have a slider here or whatever. That would be fantastic. So good. Alright, skipping ahead a little bit. Pushing through these clouds. getting into the darkness. There were a couple of moments in the flight, these typical moments where you push through a cloud and then you're in this hole of nothingness, and then there are like clouds beneath you, and it's just like, wow, it looked amazing. I think it's kind of around here, I guess. Now, actually, the weather that we are seeing is live, so it's not the actual weather that we saw. Yeah, I hope that kind of that's something that Microsoft can do, is kind of like also basically save the data, the weather data around you, and then tries to kind of replicate it as possible. Obviously, I'm not really keen into saying, oh my god, the cloud there was not there, but like, just if it's kind of the same, I'm totally cool with that as well anyway, of course. I mean, I'm just thankful anyway that we have a new flight sim. Look at that, like, at the lower end here, like, just these, like, caves, these mega islands of clouds, just looks so good. This almost looks like food, like veggies. My god, look at this. Just fantastic. And just into the clouds, and the wing is just flexing. You even live, bro? And into the darkness. One cloud to bind them. So good. If you're not really into flight sims and you're just looking at this and listening to a guy or a girl being like, oh my god, look at this, it's so good, and it's just nothing than a wing and just like one gray color, you probably go, oh my god, this person is insane. How can you like this? Well, some do, and some don't. Alright. Maybe time to push forward a little bit again. Just seeing here and just getting some blue here. It's so cool. I think there was one scene where we would just like... Oh look, there are different like transparency values for the sun when it comes to how many clouds there are in that sense, or how thick they are. That is amazing. Because yeah, of course, like, there is the sun, but we can't see it because there are clouds. We might get a glimpse in any second, maybe. Oh, it's just teasing us. I also saw, I mean, I'm not seeing this now, which is also impressive, but I remember seeing a situation where we would fly through a cloud, and I think it was still very, like, it was rainy, and you could really see, oh cool, you could really see the shine of the light that we can see that's blinking, the white light. You could really see the cone of the light, basically, in this weather situation. Which is really impressive, because it just makes me think that this cloud is not very, it's not very, I don't even know the word, okay, I can just say rainy. There's a lot of molecules. There's not a lot of molecules in there right now. Is that even the right word? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I guess, right, the wetter a cloud is in that sense. The more you would see that light cone, because you would have more water drops that would reflect that light, and in this cloud it just doesn't look like there are a lot of, water drops in that sense. But yeah, I'm just rambling. I'm not too much into clouds. I don't know much about that. I just like them. Looks good. Anyway, let's push forward a little bit here. Oh yes, amazing. Just wiggling through them. Happy little clouds. Imagine flying and Bob Ross being a commentator on this. Well, you don't want to have happy little accidents with your plane, do you? Don't think so. Alright, I should really push forward a little bit faster than this. I could just spend up 2 hours and look at this, I guess. Yeah. Just clouds everywhere. Oh, you can see some New Zealand down there. They're not too far away from the approach, probably. Looks to be like, well, maybe 17,000 or something. Oh, look at that turn. Very windy still. So yeah, apparently, right, like the landing had an actual like 25 knots, which I think is actually, it's really not that little. I think that has actually, also I think we had a completely headwind, didn't we, I think. So yeah, it would definitely push up the plane, I guess. Alright, let's... There's the approach. G'day, mate. Wait, no, that's New Zealand, not Australia. Blazite. I really apologize for this incredibly adult naming convention. I really need to change it. And pushing through the clouds again. So good. Alright, let's fast forward again a little bit. We can skip back a little bit once if I'm too fast, because we're probably gonna go through the clouds. Basically. We can kinda... Oh, there we go. Nope. Replay flaps deciding where to be. Yeah, I'm really surprised that like the cabin call would do that. I guess that's a fly-by-wire add-on. And there we go. Turning in. I think this is the last turn, I think. A lot of shaking going on. So the time right now is an hour and 19 minutes of recording time, and I think the flight itself, it said on Microsoft Flight Sim, it says 1 hour and 5. So I think it's kind of roundabout, actually kind of correct, with all the prep work and just talking at the beginning. I think would be around 15 minutes until takeoff, which would be now. So true. I think from the turn to the runway we're still like 12 nautical miles, somewhere between 8 and 10 or something like that. So we could go ahead and skip a little bit forward here, maybe just wait a couple of seconds. Because there really is nothing but gray mass at the moment, right? Alright, full flaps, so we can't be that far, so I'm just gonna let this play. So the approach is actually right after the water, I think. And to our right there should still be an island, as if I'm not entirely wrong. Actually, because we don't see anything, we can maybe check the VFR map for just a second. So yeah. Okay, I thought there was a mountain somewhere here, but there isn't. Alright. And there is the water. I really like using this as kind of a guidance. Okay, I'm gonna disable the VFR map and let the replay kind of settle on what's going on. Doesn't look to be full flaps. There's also this funny little bug in the replay where sometimes it just stops playing and just basically keeps on, like as if you were actually flying the plane. I think I just disabled the autopilot there. Maybe actually a little bit earlier, because this already seems quite low, but really shaking around a lot. Actually, the other side probably would have been better, because I don't think there's a lot of airport on our right side. Just coming in there. Just there it is. There's this weird flare that I'm talking about that a lot of people have just after you kind of come close to the runway, and there was just another crazy flare at the very end. I just pull back. And butter, kind of, maybe. We'll be kind of curious to see how it looks on a few other angles, which we probably can't do right now anyway. So let's find ourselves a more interesting camera for this. I think actually one of the earlier ones has like a pretty, yeah, this one is probably really good. We can actually really do this, I guess. So we're gonna go back. I think I'm already disengaged the autopilot here. Or just there, I think. Maybe. Yeah, it felt kind of weird, because there were like two moments where there was a very strong, I think it's called flare, isn't it? Like when the aircraft just like swashes around, and I guess it's not that unlikely. I guess I don't know how detailed it is modeled in Microsoft Flight Simulator, as in which altitude has these kind of different wind speeds and stuff. Because obviously over the water is different than over land, right? So kind of here it would be all of a sudden it would kind of change. Just now there, just like completely wafts the thing about. I have to really overcorrect. Right there again, I just pull up. Look how close my right, yeah, that's not a central landing at all, is it? I bet it was really smooth, as in, like, it would have felt very smooth, but probably would freak you out that you're so far on the left side there. But yeah, we'll be curious if the Microsoft team and like the Fly on Wire team will have a kind of a if they will change the whole thing about flaring and stuff. I think it's really a Microsoft thing at the moment, or Azobo, I should say. The beautiful French people that make it possible to have a new flight simulator. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun. I'm very happy that the ILS worked. And I gotta say, I probably will have to do this in the near future anyway. I'm not even too sure how this would apply in real-world situations, as in, like, entering your flight plan probably is not going to activate the correct ILS frequency and then the nav thing. Maybe it does. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, and then we're just gonna taxi there, which we already did. And there we are. Wait, what? Oh, basically, yeah, that's a replay thing. It's basically giving us a different, different parking spot, because it's acting as if, and there's nobody here. How sad. And they all go to there. Anyway, that was fun. Thank you all for watching. And I guess if this might be my first video that I will upload, just for the fun of it. Yeah, so is this the time where people say don't forget to subscribe? Do you want to be my first subscriber? I hope not. I think you have better things to do in your life than being my first subscriber. But hey, As the turbines shut down, I shut down as well. Good night.